Now we're going to talk about the endocrinology and their system. So, what is endocrinology? It is one of the body's two major communication systems. A system in which a group of secretor cells or a gland secretes a potent chemical transmitter substance which is known as a hormone into the blood. The transmitters is then carried by the blood to the target cells where a response is elicited or completely. Differ from the other subsystems, the activity of the endocrine system complements that of the nervous system. The nervous system involves rapid short-lived communication between individual cells, while the endocrine system involves slower prolonged communication between large numbers of cells. The endocrine system is essential for maintenance of homeostasis. Some organs in the endocrine system are involved in and have numerous functions in other systems. A single gland may secrete multiple hormones, reflecting different types of endocrine cells in the same gland. In a few cases, a single cell may secrete more than one hormone. An example for that would be anterior pituitary follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. A particular hormone may be produced by numerous endocrine glands. A chemical messenger secreted by an endocrine gland cell is often also secreted by other types of cells and serve in this location as a neurotransmitter, paracrine, and autocrine. The endocrine system is contains 6 major glands including many others, which these are in the female: pineal, hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal, pancreas, and ovary. For the male, it is the same, but without ovary. Instead, it replaced testes. So we're going to summarize the hormones. In the adipose tissue cell, there is they secrete hormone which is leptin, which the major function of the leptin is the food intake and the metabolic rate. In the adrenal, there are 2 types of adrenal. There is adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. In the adrenal cortex, they secrete hormone called cortisol, which the major function of it is the organic metabolism, response to stress, and immune system. Androgens, which is the sex drive in women, and aldosterone, which is the excretion of the sodium, potassium, and acid by kidneys. In the adrenal medulla side, there is epinephrine, organic metabolism of cardiovascular function and response to stress. It's the same thing to norepinephrine. In the gastrointestinal tract, there is a hormone which is the gastrin, secretin, cholecytokinin, glucose-dependent insulinotropic peptide, and motilin. Their function is that the gastrointestinal tract is the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. That's their main function. In the gonads, there is 2 types of gonads. We have gonads ovaries and gonads testes. In the ovaries, it is only exclusive for females, which they secrete hormone called estrogen. Their function is the reproductive system of breast growth, while progesterone is the function is development and influence gametes. There is also inhibin, which the function of the inhibin is the FSH secretion. Relaxin, on the other hand, is the relaxation of cervix and pubic ligaments. Now let's go to the testes, or exclusive for the males. We have testosterone, reproductive system, growth and development, sex drive, influence gametes. That's the function of the testosterone. While there is also inhibin, which is the same thing as the female, which is the FSH secretion. There is also Mullerian inhibiting hormones, which are the regression of Mullerian products. Now let's go to the heart. Heart thus secretes hormones also, which they call atrial natriuretic factor, or ANF, or in other words, atriopeptine, which their function is to excretion of sodium by kidneys. Blood pressure also, that's their function of the atrial natriuretic factor. Now let's go to the hypothalamus, where there are many kinds of hormones in there. We have hypopituitary hormones, which is the secretion of hormones by the anterior pituitary. We also have the corticotropin releasing hormones, which is the secretion of adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is the stimulation. There is also the thyrotropin releasing hormone, which their function is the secretion of thyroid stimulating hormone. Growth hormone releasing hormone, which is the secretion of the growth hormone stimulation. We also have somatostatins, which is the secretion of growth hormone inhibition. We also have gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is the secretion of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. There is dopamine, or DA, or also called prolactin inhibiting hormone, or PIH, is the secretion of prolactin, which is they inhibit the secretion of prolactin. We have also the posterior pituitary hormones, which is C in the posterior pituitary. Now let's go to the kidneys. In the kidneys, we have renin, an enzyme that generates angiotensin, which their function is the aldosterone secretion or blood pressure also. They also have erythropoietin, which the function is the erythrocytes production. We have also the 1,2,25-dihydroxy vitamin D3, which their function is the plasma calcium. Now let's go to the leukocyte. Leukocytes, what we got in leukocytes? We have cytokines, which their function as an immune defense. In the macrophage, on the other hand, there is interleukins and colony stimulating factors, interferons, tumor necrosis factor. Leukocytes, macrophage, endothelial cells, and fibroblasts, they have the same hormones, which is the cytokines, which this includes the interleukin, colony stimulating factors, interferons, tumor necrosis factor, which their function is the immune defense. We have liver and other cells, which their hormone is insulin-like growth factor, or IGF-1 and 2, which their function is the cell division and growth. Pancreas, on the other hand, there is insulin hormone, which is organic metabolism or the plasma glucose, their function. We have glucagon and somatostatin. In the parathyroid gland, we have the parathyroid hormone, which is, in other words, they are PTH, pH, or parathormone, which their function is the plasma calcium and phosphate. In the pineal, we have melatonin, which the function of it is maybe sexual maturity or body rhythm. Now let's go to the pituitary glands. In the pituitary glands, there are two parts, which is the anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. In the anterior pituitary, we have hormones that is secreted in the anterior pituitary. We have growth hormones, or GH, or somatotropin, which is the function of it is the growth, mainly via secretion of IGF-1, protein, carbohydrates, and lipid metabolism. There is also the thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH, or thyrotropin, which is the function of it is through the thyroid gland. We have adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH, or corticotropin, which is function is the adrenal cortex. Prolactin, Well, the function of the prolactin is the breast growth and milk synthesis, may be permissive for certain reproductive function in the male. There is also gonadotropic hormones, which is in the gonads, gametes production and sex hormone secretion. There is follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and beta lipoprotein and beta endorphin, which is the function of it is unknown. In the posterior pituitary gland, we have oxytocin, which is the milk. The function of it is the milk let down uterine motility. And we also have vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone or ADH, which the function of it is the water excretion by the kidneys, blood pressure. We also have placenta, which is the chorionic gonadotropin. The function of it is the secretion by corpus luteum. We also have estrogens, which the function of it is to see gonads, ovaries. Same thing to progesterone. The placental lactogen, on the other hand, is that their function is the breast development and organic metabolism. Now let's go to the thymus. We have thymopoietin, which is the function of it is the T lymphocytes function. We have thyroid, which is there is the thyroid. Let's go with the thyroid. The hormones of the thyroid are the thyroxine, triiodothyronine, and calcitonin. In the thyronine, their function is the metabolic rate and growth, brain development, and function. Same thing with the triiodothyronine. In the calcitonin, on the other hand, they have plasma calcium. Multiple cell types like growth factor, multiple cell types, the hormone of the multiple cell types are the growth factors. An example for that will be epidermal growth factor, which the function of it is the growth and proliferation of specific cell type. And that would be all for the endocrine system summary.